They've only fired people for not being able to get along with others, for not coming and working a full day of work, those soft skills and social skills. Thank you. That's what she's had to let people go for.
Because they're engineers.
They're not all engineers, yeah. I'm not going down that path. I'm not going down that path. Wow. So look at all these other things your students will learn from being in this kind of a setting. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oops. Go down. All right. So now, let's back up here just for a moment. So, if you came in, what is POGIL? We didn't tell you what POGIL is. It's an acronym. And it stands for Process-Oriented Guided Inquiry Learning. And you've experienced both in the last half hour. The process-oriented aspect is that collaborative learning where you develop process skills. Some of them are
It's me.
Oh, sorry.
I'm recording it for the people.
Some of those skills are, in my field, science process skills, or they might be math, or they might be language arts. How do you do the processes of that discipline? But many of them are also, how do you do interpersonal skills, teamwork building? Those are also process skills, all right? So that's one piece of it. So using the roles is helpful in that to help collaborative learning work well. Oh wow, this is like something wiped out here. Oh, that's okay. So the process skills that the POGIL project emphasizes are information processing, which you did, critical thinking, which you did, problem solving, which you did, communication, which you did in spades, teamwork, which you of course did, management, both time management and self-management, and then assessment. And in a number of groups, we saw that self-correcting. Well, I thought it was this. No, I thought it was this. How do we, so you're analyzing your own answers before you move on. So those are the process skills that are specifically focused on in the strategy. So and then the guided inquiry aspect of this is that constructivism, which you all know about, that we use for doing an activity. We use a learning cycle, a very specific learning cycle format. Harpless is the one who kind of did this 20 years ago. So it's nothing special to POGIL. It's a classic learning cycle. The 6 E's, 5 E's, 6 E's are basically this as well with different names. So you'll see that in a lot of formats where students explore something and make sense of it, and then they construct their own knowledge. So there wasn't a word bank at the top defining atoms, molecules, and particles. But now you could give me a definition in your own words of atoms, molecules, and particles. So you're more likely to retain it than if I had given you a word bank at the beginning. So you're creating your own knowledge by working together. So this is the basic learning cycle where we start with exploring something, in this case a model, and then we invent a concept. We invented the concept of what is a molecule, what is an atom, and then the bigger concept of what is a particle when it comes to matter. And then we applied it to some new situations at the end, looking just at a symbol, what must those molecules look like? So this is a precursor to basic baby chemistry, using symbols and words that students understand at a much younger age. So the process-oriented guiding for learning puts the two together, the collaborative group learning, process skills, roles, along with a very intentionally designed activity, not just a worksheet, but something that guides students in a very intentional manner to reach an agreement with what is basically the disciplinary pedagogy, something you know that is the way your discipline, whether it's in language arts, whether it's in social studies, whether it's in science, whether it's in art, the discipline has agreements on some of the orthodoxies of their discipline, and we want to get our students to come to that point where they understand those, but creating them on their own. Good question. Yes?
What experience or applying this to language arts? It seems really relevant to science, math,
we actually put together a group of activities for the ACE Language Institute here
Okay.
for students learning English grammar who
Okay.
are non-native speakers. So how do you do that?
Yeah.
So your model becomes comparing and contrasting appropriate use of commas, inappropriate for one specific thing, and students then, instead of you telling them what the pattern is, they look at the pattern and go, oh my gosh, whenever you have but or and or, there's always a comma in front, but only if there's a pronoun or a noun, right? So it's like, oh, when do you have it, when don't you have that comma?
So they are able to deduce that.
Absolutely.
Because it's a highly complex.
Yes, now, honestly, K-6 teachers are great at guided inquiry. And in general, you guide by telling students what to do and asking questions and guiding them along. And that's great, and I think that that's doing a paper and pencil activity is just not appropriate with children where that becomes an obstacle to their learning. So that learning cycle of exploring a model together, of drawing, making sense of it, and then naming whatever the concept is, the vocabulary, after they've already got something to hang it on, is a pretty powerful way to go. Yeah, the research literature is pretty strong that if you have students like have a list of words, do vocab, and then you start teaching, they think they've already learned it, so they have no incentive to learn. I already know what this is. So we see a lot of our students at the 9th grade who have come from certain schooling environments where they say, we're going to do 6 weeks of density. I already know what density is. Because they know that density is equal to mass over volume. So I will give them, I'll say, okay, what's the density of this? I'll give them water, I'll give them a balloon full of gas. What's the density of each of these things? They're like, I don't know. Well, you don't know density. But they have memorized a formula, so they think they know it. And if they had not been taught that formula up front, they would have had to develop the concept in a different manner. And then use that. Okay, other questions? All right, we are not going to go into this information processing model, but you can watch this lovely animation. You guys, oh my gosh, you know, things happen and there it is, and you're trying to get information in and they have a working memory. There's filters and what are those filters? And okay, wasn't that exciting? Yeah. So in a POGIL classroom, in this strategy, there's nothing magic about POGIL. It just takes some of the best practices of collaborative learning and melds them with the best practices of curriculum design, learning cycle, the natural way our brain learns, and puts those together. But students work in groups, they construct their own knowledge, they teach, they discuss, and they learn from peers, which is a very powerful and valuable skill. They practice and improve those process skills all the time. And we as instructors, we're facilitators of their learning rather than dispensers of the knowledge. And we also learn from our students. We'll find their misconceptions. We'll figure that out pretty quickly because we'll be hearing them, seeing what they're doing and hearing them. And the activities that we use in the POGIL strategies do have this learning cycle. We don't tell them information, here's not the concept and now apply it. You develop the concept. Okay, questions or comments? That's all, you don't need to know this stuff. Okay, we're going to do this at the end, but I'd like you to spend the next 5 minutes discussing how would you apply some of these ideas? What's 1 or 2 things you could implement in your classroom at your grade level that would help improve your student learning? Okay, and then we'll ask you to report out. So at 5:55, we will discuss that a bit.
I was going to say that I was definitely more to try out
skill. So it's not maybe because people strength, but then you want people
using all different tools, so they were like learning to teach that and how
Definitely. Well, and I think we have to like strategically putting like what is like if you have that person who's always dominating things, like what role would be.
If their job is spokesperson, would they have to wait until everybody's in?
Yeah, that might be
Whatever
good
it
for
is.
them to learn, or it may, you know, it might be good for them to like be a quality controller and, you know, make sure everybody's being involved or something like that, you know.
I mean, I don't know the answer to this, but what I don't see in what we've done so far is explicit instruction on this.
Like what
What
you do,
to
and you
do
definitely
and how
have to
to
do
use
that,
it.
especially with little ones.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, here is what a spokesperson does. This is an example of a spokesperson doing a good job. This is an example of a spokesperson. Let's model it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Kind of like what it looks like and sounds like.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, we get what a spokesperson is, right?
Yeah.
We know that word. And then some boundaries. Some examples.
Oh, really? Are they responsible for the behavior of the students?
Yeah, I think every morning we have them scheduled for.
Yes,
My job responsibility is they manage every day. They respect each other. There's a common benefit. Yeah, they use Facebook. I love what kind of that is really out of the I started to get more culturally familiar. You know, as you're going kind of teacher calling to make sure that that's just like they have to be something where they can it's not mine that kind of like you just let them
And then it's text.
that's kind of doing that, and I've been with my group. I've been letting them sort and kind of figure out what the heading should be. Think about what they did.
Oh, we were talking about how like
I really don't like it. So,
yeah, like